Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
It is a Friday, and all of our guests today are brought to you by our friends at Quinsam Communications Group in beautiful Campbell River. Scott from The Ridge, Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox just ahead of Thomas Drance. The graphic. Give the viewers what they want. What Scott is referring to is this.
Stop it. It's just
the
like,
Rick
why?
Dollywall scoop graphic.
It's a bad picture. I'm not going to complain because then people...
Scott likes it. He's a customer.
Scott's a good guy, but you guys are doing this on purpose. You know it's a bad picture, and then
We're
you
not
guys
the ones
do
who
it on
came
purpose.
up with the graphic.
It was soapy on the island.
Canucks tonight hosting Colorado, Edmonton tomorrow at Rogers Arena. Here to talk about that and all matters Canuck from The Athletic, as always on a Friday. Thomas Drance, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
Gentlemen, I'm doing fine. We need a Raisin Bran version of that graphic, by the way. Two scoops from Rick this morning.
I like that. Yeah.
Thomas, Raisin Bran. It was good cereal, Raisin Bran, Thomas.
I disagree with you, but that's okay. You enjoy. I like your work much more than I like the cereal.
Raisins are healthy, Thomas. Raisins.
Well, it's more about the bran, and as Thomas gets older, he'll see the beauty of Raisin Bran.
I'm a Honey Nut guy. I'm not changing.
Fruit Loops for me. Hey, Bruce Boudreau not on the ice tonight, morning skate. Do we read anything into that at all, Thomas? It's not that unusual that a head coach would not be on the ice at a morning skate.
And Boudreau's often not been on the ice, but he's usually on the bench. So, I think more than anything, it's a sign of the tension around this organization and around this situation in particular. I know Dolly's the latest to say any day now, Rick Tocchet coming in. So, this is played out in slow motion publicly. It's not fair to the coach who's probably resonated more with this fan base than any coach since Pat Quinn. It sucks. It's a sign, I think, more than anything of the fact that we all know where this is going. We all know it's going there imminently. And yet we're at least 48 to 72 hours away from any movement on that score.
Okay, with that in mind, what do you believe when it comes to Rick Tocchet, John Buccigross from ESPN hinting that indeed it's going to be Monday? What do you believe?
I'm not going to focus on the timing because to me, whatever. This has been telegraphed for a while. Here's what I do believe, though, gentlemen. I've got a piece up at The Athletic today with my colleague Dom Lecision, the expert modeler of projections. And here's the thing to be aware of as the Canucks prepare, apparently, to make a coaching change. This team has the third softest schedule in the league over their remaining 38 games. We did all sorts of different scenario modeling, like if they traded Kuzmenko, Horvat, and Shen tomorrow and load managed Demko over the balance of the season, how many points would they finish with? We couldn't get them beneath 79. You know why? Because the schedule matters more than the talent on their roster. This team faces Chicago 3 more times, Anaheim 3 more times, Columbus. They have 16 of their 38 games remaining against, 10 of the worst teams in the league, all teams that you could credibly say the Canucks have more talent than, particularly if Demko comes back. So here's what I'm worried about, boys. I'm worried you get Tocchet in, and you get Demko back, right? The team has a market correction in goal and starts to surrender fewer. They also get a market correction in terms of their shooting percentage, which is currently 6th in the league, and start to score fewer. The schedule is so soft that it's primarily responsible for the team chugging along at a 90 to 98 point pace over the balance of the season. The club finishes with 85 points, soars their draft stock, and everyone's saying, look at the impact of this defensive coach, as if this weren't all likely to happen regardless of what the club did behind the bench. That's what I'm sort of nervous about with Tocchet coming in. I expect he'll have a fair bit of success. I expect Bruce Boudreau would have too over the balance of this campaign, simply because the Canucks opponents the rest of the way aren't up to snuff.
Thomas, heard last night it's heating up on Bo. It's heating up big time on Bo. What's your perfect return for the Canucks? They got a ton of teams involved. It's heating up. What do you want the Canucks to get in return for Bo Horvat?
Raw futures, baby. Raw futures. Do not focus on NHL level talent. NHL level talent's not going to save this team. You know where this team's eyes should be trained on, gentlemen? They should be trained on Langley, and the game next week, 4 Vancouver kids will be playing in it, right? All 4 probable first overall or first round picks, including 1 surefire first overall pick. 3 of them grew up huge Canucks fans. 1 of them's an Oilers fan, whatever, we'll forgive him. And, that's where this team's future is. Like, this team's future is not in Vancouver. This team's future is not in Carolina or Minnesota. It's not playing in the NHL now. It's getting set and gearing up for the CHL Top Prospects game in Langley if they're smart about it. Raw, pure futures. Not NHL players, futures. And ideally draft picks. You have to start with a draft pick surplus. That's the only way forward for this organization. Did they see that? Or are we going to continue to watch this team operate with a kindergarten level of strategy in an increasingly complex league? That's the big question that we're going to get an answer to in the next few weeks.
Thomas, you and I had an argument over the phone earlier this week on Kuzmenko. You don't want to see, and I won for the 944th time. But you don't want to see Kuzmenko re-sign. You want to see him traded.
It's a no-brainer. Guys shooting 16%.
So hold it a second. So why beat out 26 teams in the summer to land him, Thomas?
Well, because this team wasn't intending to be here, Rick. They thought Kuzmenko would help them win games. He's helped them win some games, but he hasn't moved the needle for this team. And now you're looking at a situation where, and this is not the inherited stuff. This is all since Jim Rutherford took over, right? 6.66 for Brock Besser, 4.75 for Ilya Mikheyev, $8 million for JT Miller. That's a whopping total of $21 million in wingers that this club has added. This club that already was, deep on the wings, both at the NHL level, Besser, Garland, Pearson, deep and expensive, and also beneath it with Höglander, with Podkolzin. Their first-round pick was a winger. Aiden McDonough's a winger. Danila Klimovic is a winger. Like, all this team's top prospects are wingers. They have a ton of money locked up in wings. They've added $21 million in wings. You want to see them push that number to 27 for this team that can't prevent a single goal, that has a blue line like this, that's going to have to replace Bo Horvat at center? I mean, what is it? Is it $1 wing night, Rick? Like, you want more wings? Save that for Super Bowl Sunday, my man. Like, at some point, you need to have more than just scoring ability. You need guys who can impact play. The fact that this is all happening just as the market value for wingers and trades has completely collapsed. Oliver Bjorkstrand's free. Jacob Brana can be had for free on waivers. And this team's going to commit $27 million over 12 months to wingers? You don't see how that's backwards, man?
So why did they go and meet with his agent? They're not listening to you, Thomas.
Well, clearly. We've known that for a long time. I mean, I'm not expecting that they would. This team would look an awful lot different. But yeah, I mean, I expect them to get it done, but just let's be real about what they're poised to do if they do that. They're going to add more cap commitments on the wing, right? Which means they're going to have to make tougher decisions with players whose value is distressed at the moment. Players like Brock Besser, who dealt with injury this season. His two-way results have been poor. His 5-on-5 scoring rate's been great. He hasn't had as many premium opportunities as Andrei Kuzmenko. They're going to consider all manner of tough decisions on Connor Garland, a player who led this team in 5-on-5 scoring rate last year, has had terrible luck, terrible percentages, has spent 200-plus minutes with Sheldon Dries as his center this year, in contrast with Kuzmenko spending 480 minutes with Pettersson. Besser's only spent 200 minutes with Pettersson. Kuzmenko also by far has the most PP1 time, and is the guy who's converting at rates, percentages-wise, that historically strongly suggests that a player's value is overheated, unlikely to be repeated. And so, I mean, this team loves to butter its bread and then overpay for it. And that's exactly what we're seeing happen again. It's truly unconscionable. It's just not how the sharp organizations in this league operate. And if this club continues to make these sorts of mistakes, we have to overpay our good players. Yeah. We have to overpay our good players, and our bad players we have to pay to get rid of. If you continue to operate like this in this league, in a hard cap league with fully guaranteed contracts, an efficiency contest league, well, we're going to keep having the same conversations for years and years to come, Rick.
How do you figure you won the previous argument
No,
with Thomas?
no.
Like,
because I'll
honestly,
tell you why.
he's blowing you away here.
When him and I
'cause
talk on the
Rick-
phone, no, stop. When him and I
Rick, you
talk on the
just yelled,
phone,
he's got
there's
75 points.
There's a lot of yelling and a lot of f-bombs. I get to drop f-bombs with him on the phone. I can't do that here. That's
Otherwise,
why.
otherwise
why.
you'd win.
And Thomas, the best wings, Edmonton Mall.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was there in '94.
Is there a place?
I can't remember the place. It was '94. Good stuff.
I'm a lemon pepper wet guy. So
I bet you are.
Yeah, I bet you are. I bet you are.
Is Sammy J. Pepper still around?
In Edmonton?
No, here.
Yeah, it's
Do you
here.
have one
There's,
not around anymore?
There's one 5 minutes from me. Yeah.
Is? Okay. I know there's one on Lougheed there in Coquitlam.
Take a
can I
Valiant,
leave
Thomas.
Can I leave you with one thing?
Yes, of course.
The future is all that matters at this point.
Yes.
Anything done for the benefit? Anything done for the benefit of this team short term? Extending Kuzmenko, getting NHL players in return for Horvat. That just extends the amount of pain we're going to be dealing with.
You know how I feel about this, Thomas. I totally.
You're one over.
Yeah.
You're one over.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing the consensus in this market at this point.
It is.
The organization needs to heat it. But they won't.
And they don't read it. Thomas, thanks for this. Love the passion. Thanks so much. Did you want to say
Cheers, boys.
something?
Call me later.
Okay. Yeah. Get ready for the F-bumps. Thanks, Thomas. Appreciate it.